Thorn-Leeson. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight to support this show, the best Christmas pageant ever. This is my first big production at Moore, so I'm a little nervous. But I couldn't have asked for a better group of kids to work with. They have worked so hard and they're so talented and I'm so proud. And on top of that, I've had amazing parents to support us and help us here. So I would like to thank them and thank our administration who's been very supportive and helpful as well. If everyone would please make sure your phones are on silent, that would be great. And I hope that y'all enjoyed the show. Merry Christmas.
The Herdmans were the worst kids in the whole history of the world. They lied, they stole, they smoked cigars, even the girls, and they took the name of the Lord in vain and set fire to Fred Shoemaker's old broken-down schoolhouse. There were 6 of them. Ralph, Imogene, Claude, Leroy, Ollie, and Gladys. And they went through butcher Muslim school like South American fish who strike your bones clean. And they went around town the same way, tearing things, stealing things, whamming kids. There was only one safe place.
Sweet hour of prayer, because there are no Herdmans there. And Jesus loves us, as they say, because he keeps them miles away.
That's my little brother, Charlie. And that is exactly what he told the Sunday school teacher when she asked him what his favorite thing about church was. He said, no Herdmans. And that made the Sunday school teacher mad, because all the other kids said nice things about God and Jesus and good feelings. But old Charlie, he told the real truth. No Herdmans.
I don't care what everybody else says. That's what they really thought. All that other stuff is good about church, but the main thing is there are no Herdmans there. Ever.
That's not a very Christian sentiment, it seems to me.
It's a very practical sentiment. Charlie was black and blue all last year because he had to sit next to Leroy Herdman in school.
Is that the worst one? Leroy?
They're all the worst one.
Ralph's the biggest. So Ralph gets
That doesn't make any difference. Gladys isn't big, but she's mean. And she's fast, and she bites.
I'm sorry I asked. Just stay away from all of them.
That's what I said. Stay away from them. Go to church.
I'm glad to hear you feel that way.
Why?
No arguments this year about the Christmas pageant.
But Mom, I don't want to be a shepherd again.
Well, tell Mrs. Armstrong you want to be a wise man.
I don't want to be in it.
Everybody's in it. Think how I'd feel sitting there on Christmas Eve if my own 2 children were in the pageant. Think how your father would feel. You'd feel terrible, wouldn't you, Bob?
Well, actually, I didn't plan to go. You know how crowded it always is, and they could use my seat. I'll just stay home, put on my bathrobe, relax. There's anything different about the Christmas pageant anyways.
There's going to be something different this year.
What?
Charlie's going to wear your bathrobe.
You just cut that up, Grace.
You should be Joseph. Elmer Hopkins would pay you $1 to be Joseph. He's tired of being Joseph just because his father's the minister. Nobody wants to be Joseph.
Nobody wants to be in it. So, what are you going to be this year, Beth?
I'm always in the angel choir.
Well, why can't Charlie be in the angel choir?
Because I can't sing.
From what I've heard in the past, that's not a serious drawback. Wind maker always sounds like a closet full of mice to me.
Well, what do you wear in the angel choir?
Bed sheets.
Oh boy.
You know, Mrs. Armstrong was very hard to give everyone a lovely experience.
Oh, Mom, Mrs. Armstrong just likes to run things.
You're right, of course. She directs the pageant, she runs the potluck supper, she's chairman of the bazaar. I think Helen Armstrong would preach the sermon if anyone would let her.
Is that Jones Armstrong's wife?
Yes?
Well, maybe we should try to manage the hospital, because that's where she is. I met George at the drugstore this morning, and he said his wife broke his leg. She'll be in traction for the next 2 weeks, and laid up till the end of the year.
The end of the year? You'll have to cancel Christmas.
She's in charge of Christmas.
Well, she directs the pageant, she runs the potluck supper. I feel sorry for Helen, but who's going to do all those things?
Yes, I'll take over the bazaar, Edna, if you'll do the potluck supper. I don't know what in the world we'll do about the pageant. Unless, how about Grace? Oh, I just can't. I have guests all Christmas week. How about Grace? How about Grace? Hello, Grace?
Bob,
What?
I have to direct the Christmas pageant.
Does that mean I have to go?
Our Christmas pageant isn't exactly what you'd call four-star entertainment. Mrs. Armstrong breaking her leg is the only unexpected thing that's ever happened to it. It's always the same old story, the same old carols, and the same old Mary and Joseph. And that's what my mother was stuck with. That's and Mrs. Armstrong.
Tell you again, Grace, how important it is to give everyone a chance. Here's what I do. First, I tell them about Mary, and that Mary was the mother of Jesus, so we must choose carefully.
I know that, Helen.
Yes, and then I tell them about Joseph, that he was God's choice to be Jesus' father. That's why I explain that.
I thought Miss Armstrong was in traction. How did she get on the phone if she's in traction?
What do you think traction is?
Like when they put you to sleep.
No such luck. Beth, we need salt and pepper and napkins.
I tell them there are no small parts, only small actors.
You will leave some for the rest of us, won't you, Charlie?
I'm hungry. Leroy Herdman stole my lunch again.
How can you let him do that to you, day after day?
Well, how can I stop him? Where's the ham?
Grace, where's the ham?
It's still in the oven. I'll get it. Oh, and you'll have to get someone to push the baby angels on stage, or they'll get in each other's way or bend their wings. Bob could do that. He could also keep an eye on the shepherds. Another thing about the angel choir is don't let them wear lipstick. They think just because it's a play that they have to wear lipstick, and it looks terrible.
Helen, I have to go. There's someone at my door.
Not to wear lipstick.
Someone at my door, Helen. I'll talk to you later.
Yes, coming.
Lady, can you give her some food? I haven't had a squirrel meal in 3 days.
For heaven's sake, it's you.
I was very lonely at the table.
Well, I guess Helen feels lonely at the hospital.
Not as long as the telephones are working.
I bet she told you about no small parts, only small actors.
And how you need somebody to push on the baby angels and to tell the shepherds to shut up.
Yes. She suggested your father.
Does that mean I have to go?
Oh, and don't just get anybody's baby for Jesus. Make sure you get a quiet one. Better yet, get two if you can. That way, if one turns out to be fussy, you can always switch them.
My mother didn't pay much attention to Mrs. Armstrong. She said Mrs. Armstrong was stuck in traction with nothing to do but think up problems, and there weren't going to be any problems. Of course, my mother didn't count on the Herdmans showing up. That was Charlie's fault.
Hey, Leroy, you give me back my lunch.
Sure, kid, here.
You stole my dessert again?
How do you know?
Because it's not there.
What was it?
2 Twinkies.
That's right, that's what it was.
Hey, Leroy, you think it's so great to take my lunch day after day. Well, you know what? I don't even care. I'll give it to you. I get all the dessert I want in Sunday school.
Oh yeah, what kind of dessert?
Chocolate cake and cookies and big wheels.
You're a liar!
And ice cream and donuts.
Who gives it to you?
The the minister.
Why is he crazy?
I think he's rich.
Sunday school. Huh.
That was the wrong thing to tell the Herdmans. And sure enough, Christmas Eve, there they were. Just in time to hear about the Christmas pageants.
What's a pageant?
It's a play.
Like on TV? What's it about?
It's about Jesus.
Ugh, everything here is.
And it's about Mary. Mostly, it's about Mary.
Who's Mary?
I am. Well, probably I am. I know the part.
Charlie, you would take a cup. Now, this won't take very long if you all settle down. Today we're going to decide who will play the main roles in our Christmas pageant. But of course, everyone will have an important role to play. You know what Mrs. Armstrong always says? There are no small parts, only small actors. Isn't that what Mrs. Armstrong always says?
That's what she always says, but she never says what it means.
Don't you know what it means?
I know what it means. It means the short kids of the angel choir have to sit in the front row, or else nobody can see them.
Well, not exactly. It really just means that the littlest baby angel is just as important as Mary.
I don't think anybody is as important as Mary.
Well, naturally, that's what you'd think, Alice. I think it's baby Jesus.
I still think it means the short kids have to sit in the front row.
Girls, everyone is important. Mary, Jesus, and the short kids. Now, is everyone here? Beverly, will you just step out and see if anyone else is coming? Now, you little children here are angels, so please remind your mothers that you'll need bed sheets. People in the angel choir will need bed sheets too. And if any of you happen to have old bathrobes at home, get out! Now what's the matter? Now what happened to Beverly?
I think she went home. I think she got sick.
Did she say she was sick?
No, all that happened was I said, "Hi, Beverly," and she left.
I see. Well, will someone please tell her about the rehearsals? The next
wish you didn't. And I said, I'm always marrying a Christmas pageant. And she said, go ahead then. Next spring when the pussy willows come out, I'll stick a pussy willow bush so far to your ear that it will sprout there and grow and grow. And you'll spend the rest of your life with a pussy willow bush growing out of your ear.
You know she wouldn't do that.
She would too. Herdmans will do anything. You just watch. They'll do something terrible and ruin the whole Christmas pageant. And it's all your mother's fault.
Jane, Edna, McCarthy. Did you hear about the... Well, it must be Grace's fault somehow. Else with the 6 of them ended in a Christmas patch when they ought to be in jail.
Vera, Slocum, I just heard that Imogene Herdman was going to be marrying the Christmas pageant. Is that a fact? All 6 of them. Vera, I live next door to that outfit, and I'd rather live next door to a zoo. Has Grace gone crazy? Where did they come from? Who let them in? Imogene Herdman, what kind of child is that to be married mother of Jesus? Where is Reverend Hopkins? I'd like to know. He was what? Visiting shut-ins? Well, I'm shut in, and he wasn't visiting me. I said, why don't you just let them hand out programs at the front door? And Grace said, we never have programs at the pageant. But then I said,
Better nail down the church and lock at the silver service and hide the collection plates before they clean them out.
what was Grace thinking? Couldn't she have sent them away? Tell them to go home? Oh, I feel responsible. If I'd have been up and about this, never would have happened.
If I'd been up and around, this never would have happened. Well, let me tell you.
Don't tell me. I'm on your side.
Helen Armstrong is not the only woman alive who could run a Christmas pageant. I made up my mind just to do the best I could under the circumstances. But now I'm going to make this the best Christmas pageant ever. And I'm going to do it with the Herdmans. After all, they raised their hands when nobody else did. And I don't care.
Good for you, Grace. The car's over there.
And you're going to help me.
Does that mean
You have to go. The inn is back here off stage. The shepherds come in and
Where'd all the shepherds come from anyway?
What's in it?
It's like a hotel where people would spend their night.
What people? Jesus?
Oh, come on. Jesus wasn't even born yet. Mary and Joseph went there. Why? To pay their taxes.
At a motel? Oh, shut up, Ollie. Everybody just shut up. I want to hear her. Begin at the beginning.
The beginning?
The beginning of the play. What happened first?
Imogene, this is the Christmas story from the Bible. Haven't you ever heard the Christmas story from the Bible? Well, that's what this Christmas pageant is, so I guess I'd better read it to you.
I don't believe that to you, that they've never heard the Christmas story. Why not? They don't even know what a Bible is, and they've never been to church in their whole life.
All right, everyone.
Young brother told them that we are refreshments.
There went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And Joseph went up from Galilee with Mary, his wife.
Pregnant? She was pregnant?
All right now, we all know that Mary was pregnant. And it came to pass, while they were
I don't think it was very nice to call Mary pregnant. It's better to say great child. I'm not supposed to talk about people being pregnant, especially in church.
Well, she was.
because there's no room for them in the inn.
My God! They didn't have any room for Jesus?
Nobody knew that the baby was going to be Jesus.
Didn't Mary know? Didn't he know? What was the matter with Joseph that he didn't tell anybody?
What's a manger? Some kind of bed?
Well, they didn't have room in the inn, so they had to use whatever there was. What would you do if you had a new baby and no bed to put it in?
We put Gladys in the bureau drawer.
Well, there you are. You didn't have a bed for Gladys, so you had to use something else.
Oh, we had a bed, all right. Only Ollie was still in it. Ollie wouldn't get out.
Ollie didn't like that. Remember, he didn't like Gladys.
she wrapped him in watered up clothes.
Swaddling cloths. People used to wrap babies up very tightly in big pieces of material to make it feel cozy.
You mean they tied him up and put him in a feed box? Where was the child welfare?
Child welfare for hours, almost every 5 minutes.
There wasn't any child welfare in Bethlehem.
I'll say there wasn't.
And there were shepherds keeping watch over the flocks by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them in the glory of
Shazam! Out of the black night, the mighty
I
marvel!
don't know what you're talking about,
With
Lyons.
horrible vengeance!
This is the angel of the Lord who brought the good news to the shepherds.
Out of the black night, right? Out of nowhere, right?
Well, in a way.
Shazam!
Now, when Jesus was born, there came wise men from the east, bearing gifts of gold.
Well, for about time somebody important showed up. If they're kings, they can get the baby out of the barn and tell the innkeeper where to get off.
They were sent by Herod, who was, well, he was kind of the main king. He wanted to find Jesus and have him put to death.
My God! They were gonna kill Jesus, but he just got born!
Who's Herod in the play?
Herod isn't in the play.
He's out to kill the baby and he isn't even in the play?
Well, I think somebody ought to be Herod. Let Charlie be Herod. And they say, go get me that baby. And they say, okay, because he's a king and all. I'm not going to be Herod.
No one's going to be Herod.
So Joseph gets the shepherds together and they kill Herod. And see, they're gonna put one in. And it's gonna be me. And I'm gonna get killed. And then I run away with the baby till the fight's over.
Forget about Herod. There's no Herod.
Somebody ought to take out the innkeeper. Glad you take out the innkeeper.
I can't. I'm an angel.
Well, I wouldn't just hang around in the barn. I'd go get a room. She said there wasn't any room. Well then, I'd make room. I'd tell them I've got this baby and it's the middle of winter. So it's either get out or move over. I'll got no care.
I'd send the angel after him. She gets pointer lets her finger turn into a pile of ashes.
Yeah! That!
What's the name of this play anyway? She never said.
Christmas pageant.
That's not a name, that's what it is.
I know a name. I call it Revenge at Bethlehem. Revenge at Bethlehem? The Herdman thought the whole story came right out of the FBI files. At least they chose the right villain. It was Herod they wanted to gang up on, and not the baby Jesus. But the baby Jesus quit the pageant anyway. It was supposed to be Eugene Slocum, but Mrs. Slocum said she wasn't going to let Imogene Herdman get her hands on him. So we didn't have a baby. And that bothered my mother. She kept trying to scratch up a baby, even at the last rehearsal. What do you keep writing in that book? It's like a diary. It's not. It's all about their Herdmans. Imogene curses and swears all the time. Ralph talks about sexy things. Mrs. Bradley. Mrs. Bradley called Mary pregnant. And Gladys drinks the communion wine. It isn't wine, it's grape juice. I don't care what it is. I've seen her 3 times with her mouth all purple. They steal too. If you shake your birthday bag, it doesn't make a sound because they stole all the pennies out of it. And every time you go into the ladies' room, the whole air is blue, and Imogene Herdman is sitting there in the Mary costume, smoking cigars. And you wrote this down? What for? For my mother and Reverend Hopkins and the Ladies' Aid Society and anybody else who wants to know what happened when the whole Christmas pageant turns out to be a big mess.
Beth, will you and Alice please come up here so we can get started?
No.
Now, this is our last rehearsal, and we're going to go...
Grace, I just want to let you know we're going to be in the kitchen making applesauce cake. We'll try not to bother you. I guess this is your dress rehearsal.
It's supposed to be. Oh, and didn't I hear that your niece had a baby a month or so ago? A little girl?
Oh yes, she's 5 weeks old.
Well, I wonder how it would be if I were to call your niece and ask if we could borrow.
Grace, no. I could make up some lie and say the baby's sick or cranky or something like that. The truth is, she's perfectly healthy and happy and beautiful. And we want her to stay that way. I'm not letting Imogene and Herdman go anywhere near her. Sorry, Grace.
Miss Bradley, I have a little brother you can use for Jesus.
I didn't know you had a new baby, David.
He's not new. He's 4 years old, but he's double jointed. He could probably scrunch up.
Just a baby. Well, there are always 2 or 3 babies down by the supermarket in those carriages. I'll get you one of those. Imogene, you can't just walk off someone else's baby. I guess we'll forget about a baby. We'll just use the doll. That's right. It'd be better anyway. A doll can't bite you. Imogene, you know, Mary didn't wear earrings. But I have to wear these, or else my ears will grow together. Well, they won't grow together in an hour and a half. What did the doctor tell you to do? What doctor? Well, who pierced your ears? Gladys. Oh, well, we'll find something smaller. Now, is that your costume? Is that what you're going to wear? You're all supposed to have your costumes on today.
But I lost my halo. And my wig's gone. And it's got my robe. My mom doesn't have any white bed sheets. Can you just wear balloons on it? I haven't got any costume. I was never a shepherd before.
You have to wear your father's bathrobe. That's what I have to do.
He hasn't got any bathrobe.
Well, what does he hang around the house in?
His underwear?
Pretend you're very cautious.
Are we going through the whole thing?
Yes, of course. But first, we'll practice just the entrances. So all of you know where you're supposed to be, and we'll start with shepherds. Just read the last few words, Maxine.
Shepherds keeping watch over their flocks by night.
Shepherds!
And the angel of the Lord appeared to them.
Shazam! No!
Black night!
Go on, Maxine.
And a multitude of the heavenly host.
Angels! Angels! Wise men! Let go! Let go! No, you don't say anything. Mary doesn't say anything. Nobody says anything. Mary and Joseph just make a lovely picture for us to look at what we think about Christmas and what it means. Now put the doll back. I don't get to say anything. Some angel tells me what to call the baby. I would have named him Bill. What angel is that? It's old like that, Gladys.
Yeah, and you, a child is born.
God has brought the good news to the shepherds. Not unto them, unto me. I'm the one that had the baby. No. No, 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 no. That just means that Jesus belongs to everybody. And to all of us, a child is born. But why didn't they let Mary name her own baby? What did the angel do? Just walk up and say, name him Jesus? Yes.
I know what the angel said. She said, his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace.
My God! He'd never get out of first grade if he had to write all that down.
We never did start over, and we never did go through the whole thing. The 5 minutes turned into 15 minutes, and Imogene Herdman spent the whole time smoking cigars in the ladies' room. Then Mrs. McCarthy went in the ladies' room, saw all the smoke, and called the fire department. And they came right away.
They cleared everybody out of the building and dragged the fire hose all through the church looking for a fire to put out. But the only fire they found was in the kitchen. All the applesauce cake burned up. Of course, all the ladies were mad about that. And Mrs. McCarthy was mad. And my mother was mad.
Why in the world did you call the fire department about a little smoke?
There was a lot of smoke. The ladies' room was full of thick smoke.
It couldn't have been. You just got excited. And now look, the church is full of firemen and the street is full of baby angels crying and shepherds climbing all over the fire truck and half the neighborhood. Didn't you know cigar smoke?
No, I did not know it was cigar smoke. I don't expect to find cigar smoke in the ladies' room of the church.
The whole Ladies' Aid Society was upset too. And else Wendelken's mother was mad. And Reverend Hopkins said he didn't know what to think.
I've been on the telephone all day, Grace. I can't make heads or tails of it. Some people say they set fire to the ladies' room. Some people say they set fire to the kitchen. Wendelken says all they do is talk about sex and underwear.
That was Hobie Clark talking about underwear. And they didn't set fire to anything. The only fire that burned up was the applesauce cake in the kitchen.
Well, the whole church is in an uproar. Some people say, I don't know. Jesus said, some of the little children, come to me. But I don't think he meant the Herdmans. Anything which you can't imagine?
I'll bet that was Helen Armstrong's idea.
We can lay them on the fire. That's a good excuse.
I'll bet that was Anna McCarthy's idea.
Some people think it's going to be a...
Disaster? Well, they're wrong. This is going to be the best Christmas pageant we ever had.
But Grace, I don't think anyone's going to come see it.
I didn't think so either. And neither did Charlie. But sure enough, Christmas Eve, the church was jam-packed. Everybody came to see what the Herdmans would do.
Wait till you feel like that. Now, watch your step.
I can't even see where I'm going. I don't know what in the world you expect to do with this thing.
I thought it might look like a palm tree. I see now that it doesn't. Oh, any idea what's going to happen tonight? We've never once gone through the whole thing, and the Herdmans still think it's some kind of spy story. It might be the first Christmas pageant in history where Joseph and the wise men get in a fight, and Mary runs off with the baby.
Where are the kids? All the kids in the world are downstairs putting on bed sheets.
I mean, our kids.
We're here.
Oh, get your costumes on. It's getting late.
It's just gonna be a disaster, you know. They look like trick or trees or something. All fastened together with safety pins and wearing their moldy old sneakers. Mary and Joseph, I mean, they look like refugees or something.
Well, that's what they were, Mary and Joseph. They were refugees. In a way. They were a long place from home. They didn't have any place to stay. They didn't know anybody. They were probably cold and hungry and tired. And messy.
I don't know about hungry and tired, but messy, I'm sure of.
Oh, dear. Do you think
I think you worry too much. Now, I'm going to hand out the shepherd's crooks. I'm going to push the baby angel on stage. And then I'm going to push the shepherds on stage. When do I do all of that?
Just follow the script.
Maybe angels, wise men, shepherds. No, it doesn't seem to say with fire engines coming. Just kidding.
Beth, will you and Alex please come up here and help with the baby angels?
No.
room.